Monday. I want to welcome everybody in after a busy weekend of everything from Quonset Air Show to Gatsby Day parades and Prov Fest and everything else that went on in Rhode Island. I think it was kind of the perfect Rhode Island weekend of everybody out doing something. I want to invite Peter here, Peter Kaczmarek, over from MPC, a cool company in Rhode Island, which I got to tell you, not many companies in Rhode Island I haven't heard of before. You are one of them. And wildly interesting manufacturer, making just a plethora of different products for all different applications. Talk a little bit, give a little overview of what you guys are doing.
Great, thank you. Thanks for having us here. Yeah, not that many people know about MPC, which stands for Mearthane Products Corporation, but we've been around for 52 years here in Rhode Island, and we are a custom manufacturer of components that go into a wide variety of machines and other applications using a very unique polymer technology that we helped to pioneer almost 50 years ago.
He brought his little toolkit of all the cool things that they make. Nothing better than, let's start at the height of grandiose product making, the Olympics.
Yeah.
Give us a show there.
Yeah, so we have a line of products, a technology that's patented for making inline skate wheels. Not the recreational kind, but the kind that are used by professional inline racers. And we have a great following in Korea, including one of our largest distributors. And when the Olympics was getting ramped up, he said, hey, we would love it if you would make us a special set of wheels for the skaters to use during the closing ceremonies. And so we made this fluorescent green wheel. And if you watched the closing ceremonies, you would have seen it almost looked like their feet were glowing because of the wheels. And they are one of our largest markets for our large skate wheels, which are used by the professional racers worldwide. Korea happens to be a hotbed of competition, and
how's North Korea? Just trying to stay in the moment.
Well, we haven't gotten too many customers there yet, but you never know.
Never know. President Trump and Dennis Rodman could be bringing the technology of MPC over to North Korea right now.
That's right, but so even though we're a relatively small company and, as you said, not well known, we are very well known among the international racing, inline racing world. The MPC wheel is considered the fastest and best wheel in the world.
That's great. Super cool. Very, very light. And it feels like a plastic.
Yeah.
But its performance is just...
Yeah, so the secret is inside the wheel is a really bouncy version of our polyurethane technology.
Gotcha.
So you remember Super Balls, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the Super Ball is a polyurethane, and so inside this wheel, which is kind of tough on the outside, is a really high rebound material that kind of makes it feel like you've got springs on your legs when you're using them. And that patent and that technology is what causes people to want to use our wheels.
That's great. Talk about some of the other applications.
Yeah, so as exciting as the wheels are, and kind of the most interesting thing, it is a minority of what we do at Mearthane Products. We actually make a wide variety of components for machines to make the machines safer and more reliable. And for example, every nuclear submarine, of which we make a lot of here in Rhode Island, uses some of our patented material to protect the cooling systems, which are critical in a nuclear submarine. So this green material almost feels like a metal, and
it does.
It's impregnated with graphite, which makes it tougher and more reliable. And it's been used in nuclear submarines since 1970.
That's great.
And continues to be used.
And you have a lot of patents. I mean, this is not a one patent company. You've got about 15 or 20.
Yeah, our claim to fame, we feel, is that even though we're a relatively small company and the polyurethane universe is huge, we are innovators,
Yeah.
and we devote a lot of our time and our resources to R&D, which is why large corporations tend to come to us when they have a problem using rubber or some other material.
And talk about it. How many customers do you guys have?
We have about 200 active customers, and as I said, they tend to be companies that are a lot bigger than we are.
Sure.
You know, companies like Xerox and Hewlett-Packard and Kodak and National Cash Register and General Dynamics. I mean, these are all huge corporations, but they know us for our polymer technology, and they come to us when they have a problem they can't solve.
Great. Walk us through a couple more.
Yeah, so everybody, I think, uses ATMs to deposit money and to deposit checks and such and to get money out. And
I still go to the saving and loan. Just out of loyalty, and I've always hated
just
Mr.
to see
Potter.
a live,
Right.
a live face, right?
Right.
And be rejected for a loan.
Yeah, that's right.
So ATMs have become very sophisticated over time, and now you can put in a whole stack of checks and bills, and it has to sort them and give you back the ones that you want to take back. And so the ATM makers have turned to us to say we need a component that has a very reliable level of grip, what we call coefficient of friction, such that when they stick that stack of checks in, it'll take them one
So you
at a
really
time.
don't call it grip, you call it coefficient.
We have to be a little bit more technical, but we make a number of components, very specialized components for ATMs for that very reason. And so you might be using an ATM that has a Mearthane product in it, any time of day.
You mentioned before we came on that you guys are up to about 75 employees.
Yeah.
And what's been the growth pattern and what's been fueling the growth?
Well, in the 2007-2008 recession, a lot of manufacturing left New England and Rhode Island in particular permanently. And Mearthane took a hit at that time.
I'm sure.
But we reinvented ourselves as a specialty formulator of materials and a problem solver. And so we hung in there, we focused our business on being that partner to machine makers and large OEMs, and gradually we built our reputation back up. And today we're growing nicely. We grew more than 10% last year. Our wheels business is actually growing as well as we've gained fame, and the sport has gained popularity around the world. So, but in addition, we've recently made 2 acquisitions. We acquired 2 other small Rhode Island companies, one in Bristol, Rhode Island, and one in Newport. And these companies give us the capability to not only make the polymer, but also to make the metal components that often go with these parts. And so now we're a one-stop shop. And we enjoy the fact that we are helping to build Rhode Island manufacturing by making this type of acquisition.
So is that vertical integration that because of those acquisitions been able you to spawn more products?
Absolutely.
And are you also able to now start to cross-sell within those 200 relationships?
You read our strategic plan, didn't you, Josh?
Just a wild guess.
No, that's exactly, those 2 things were exactly the reason that we did these acquisitions. One is now we can make ourselves more vertically integrated, which means we can move more quickly. We can offer a lower total cost to our customers. But also, the 2 companies we purchased are very active in the defense side of things where we would like to grow. So now we can expose ourselves to our products and our capabilities to large OEMs in the defense space as well.
And is the infrastructure, we hear a lot about the defense industry, especially out of Aquidneck Island, working with especially the Navy down there. Is that infrastructure helping you guys between what's going on down there and what Commerce is doing? Is that able to kind of get you in front of the right people for purposes of procurement?
Absolutely. We recently joined Synetia,
the big Newport defense industry kind of trade association.
Exactly.
Of those, yeah.
And it's been fantastic. It's introduced us to a lot of key decision makers in the spaces that we're trying to get into. But even more importantly, they tend to provide a forum for networking that is something we didn't even know about a few years ago.
That's great.
So yes, and you know, I think it's overall excellent for the Rhode Island economy that we're able to focus on these technologies, and the state, I believe, is helping out.
And then you've gotten some innovation grants?
We have.
It's kind of like the mini DARPA of Rhode Island?
Yeah, it's a program, again, that was, I think, under-publicized, and we learned about it about a year ago through Commerce RI. And it's a grant that allows you to focus innovation that for a small company you may just not have the wherewithal to do by yourself. So we proposed and were awarded an innovation grant around totally rethinking the manufacturing process for the products that you see here. This orange foam we call Mearthane F. It's our own formulation. It's a proprietary material. And this will allow us to really expand the market for this material, which is a very unique electrically conductive polyurethane foam.
Is this a similar product?
Yes, that's exactly the same type of material.
Obviously, you don't get the sense of touch and feel as we get here in the studio, but every product is so remarkably different in texture, in performance, and application.
And yet, they're all based on the same polyurethane chemistry. So I don't know if this will go well or not, but we use a demo to show people what the technology can do. These two balls were both formulated and molded in our plant in the same place, and you can see the difference in the performance. One is a very dead material, and the other is very bouncy and has a high rebound. They're both polyurethanes, and they're both in our toolkit.
And what do you see the future? I mean, 10% growth, you're starting to expand your product lines, you're getting focused on the defense industry, you're making key acquisitions, you're getting vertical in your construct. What's next?
Well, we are continuing to try to reach out to more and more customers. We're very active in social media. We recently really expanded our web presence. Because that's how people tend to find us. You know, we don't have this huge sales force going all over to get new customers. We intend to continue to do small, targeted, strategic acquisitions. Love to do them in Rhode Island, where it's a very friendly business community, and to continue to grow here. We're also developing a few new technologies. You mentioned our patents earlier. One of the patents is around making polyurethanes electrically conductive.
Oh, wow.
Which means it dissipates static,
Sure.
which is something that usually rubber-like materials don't do very well. So this is a very unique technology, and we're starting to work with an outside company to help us take that to the next level as well.
That's great.
So lot on the plate.
Well, listen, I thank you for coming in.
It's been my pleasure.
Love the education, love the technology. Who else should we make sure hears about this? Other manufacturers, other producers, other thinkers, and what's your biggest challenge?
Okay. Well, the biggest challenge really is getting ourselves known.
Yeah.
You know, as a relatively small company. So things like this, you know,
Done. We took care of known.
We're glad to
Now
do it. Industrial designers are our target audience.
Right.
So we started working with Rhode Island School of Design, their industrial design department, because those are our customers of the future.
Absolutely.
We developed this design kit with some help from the Commerce RI grant.
Oh, that's great.
That we can send to designers, and they'll have things to play with. Everybody wants to have something that they can touch and feel before they make a design decision. So I think that's our largest challenge, is just, you know, really trying to get ourselves better known worldwide. I think I may have mentioned to you, we tend to try to go on the Commerce RI international trade missions. We're going on our 7th one in September to the Scotland and the northern part of England.
That's great.
And again, it's to spread the word among industrial design houses of our
And have those trade missions paid off?
Very much so.
Yeah, that's
very
right.
much so. Yeah, we've gotten at least $1 million of additional revenue over time.
Well, that's great.
Through contacts that we've made in those trade.
That's great news. Peter, thanks so much for coming on. We're going to be right back in a second with another focus on small business in Rhode Island. Hang on one second. We'll be back in about 30 seconds.
Thank you.